We're here on a very chilly day at Ride Park in Victoria, but it's okay because we're testing the all-new 2017 model Kawasaki KX250F. This bike is completely redesigned from the ground right the way to the top. Now let's start off with the frame. Completely changed. It's designed to make the bike a lot more maneuverable and handle any situation that you can tackle out there on the track. The plastics also have been completely remolded. A lot of that is to work around the new chassis and subframe as well. The motor is totally different. It is a lot straighter, it sits a lot more upright, but the main thing for the punters out there to know, a lot more power, and it's delivered exceptionally smooth. Now let's just briefly touch on the suspension. We've got a stiffer spring set at the front and a lighter spring on the rear. This is aimed at bringing that front wheel up just that little bit higher and changing your weight bias a little bit. Should work exceptionally well. I can't wait to try it. And also, just to finish off with, inbuilt graphic in the radiator shroud means you can't pull those graphics off. They're actually built into the plastic. Quite a cool little feature. And just to finish off with, as we've mentioned, this bike completely changed from top to bottom. I can't wait to get out here and give it a little bit of a try. Let's see how it goes. Any day that you get to test a completely remodeled motorcycle, it's a good day at the office. And sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. Now for Kawasaki with the new 2017 model KX250F, they're right on the money, let me tell you. This thing is a weapon, a work of art. The chassis, the motor, all the major changes, tick of the box, exceptionally good. But we'll start off with the motor that had a host of changes. Now, first of all, riding at a track like Ride Park here, it just saps all horsepower out of just about any bike you could possibly want to get out there. And this bike pulled very nicely out there, and I could noticeably feel it's going to be right there in the game when we get to pit this against some of the other manufacturers later on in the year. But a noticeable increase of bottom end torque, a nice little extra add to the punchiness of the mid-range, and the over-rev just keeps going that little bit further, which in the last couple of years with the Kawasaki 250 has just lacked a little bit of that over-rev. Now for me personally, here's the big one, the chassis. This is so maneuverable, this bike, it is quite amazing, and it feels like you're riding this tiny little bike around that you can just throw all over the place, and yet it still handles very predictably going into corners. The Kawasaki just squatted very, very nicely going into corners. No random kicks to the rear end, but it still tracked really nicely out of the corners when you had those chattery bumps. So a very nicely balanced rear end, and of course, works very well with the forks. And to finish off on, this baby is a whole lot lighter than last year's model, 1.7 kilos lighter than the 2016 model 250F from Kawasaki. Now, that is basically the difference between an air fork and a spring cartridge fork. So a very, very nice shaving off of weight there from Kawasaki for the new model. Well, that'll do us here. I had a pleasure riding this bike and bringing all of the specs and details to you guys. Make sure you go and check them out if you're a Kawasaki fan at your local dealership.
For all your motorcycle insurance needs, visit swanmotorcycle.com.au.